Welcome to He Said, She Said with Adam and
Patricia.
we'll get that shit down one time.
Patricia.
We'll get that intro
Yeah.
down one time. It's when we do it always sounds so cheesy, right? We're like we did the recording, like the intro for the first episode.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point, though.
Right. It is. Welcome to He Said
She said,
with Adam Lowry.
and Patricia May.
That is cheesy as fuck. We are never doing that again. That's so terrible. Oh man, we are never doing that again. But hanging out, little. I like the wine choice this Sunday evening. I do. Undefeated is what it's called. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember.
No, it is not undefeated. I said it undefeated. I said it wrong. I'm like showing it on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
It's misbehaved actually. So misbehaved.
Yeah.
Pick that bottle up. Are we misbehaving?
I think that's what got us where we are today.
We're such wild people.
I don't know that I'd go there. I guess so. Internally.
Yeah, we're taking a little easier this week. Last Sunday, we tore apart the private stock, the Captain Morgan private stock, and got a little out of control.
I didn't think so.
Well, okay. After.
No, the whole thing was in control. It was fun, I thought.
Or you were in control. Maybe that's why I can let go when I'm around you. Maybe
What?
is it because like you're like, I got this. So I can be like, she's got this. I'm gonna let go.
I feel the same though.
Well,
It's
who's
good
in
to-
control then?
No, I'm saying like when I go out with you, it's nice to be able to go relax, chill, because I know I'm going to be okay and taken care of.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a rough world out there, the dating world. You know, you made me watch. Now I don't do chick flicks, you know what I mean? But I may have changed my tune.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll cover my new theory based on that later. But in all of the non-reality, which those chick flicks, if you will, can I even say that today?
Chick flick?
Yeah. I don't think I can even say that today. I'm probably in trouble right now with some.
I don't think it really matters. Like to me, that is one of the biggest problems.
Somebody's tweeting
today.
like, you mother, you think you can't.
Yeah. I don't really care when it comes to that kind of stuff. I feel like if it's harmless to me and I am not hurting anybody, offending them,
hurt.
then it doesn't matter if it's goofy or stupid or whatever.
Silly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think silly is a good word. If it's silly and it's fun, you know, you
Mhm.
can do that. But all right, so you forced me to watch. So he's just not that into you.
Yeah.
All right. Haven't been single a time or two in my life.
Yeah.
There are definitely some similarities. Now they take that movie and seriously exaggerate the personalities or that person, but I couldn't help but say, I think we've all been that person, each one of those people, probably
was my
one
thought.
time.
Yeah. And it was almost painful to watch. It would recall situations where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Or I let so-and-so do that or whatever. You just go, wow, I was that idiot. And fortunately, I don't feel like I'm that idiot anymore.
Which one was the idiot that you felt like before?
Every single one of them.
Each one.
Yeah.
Well, each one kind of makes a bonehead.
Well, maybe not everyone, but close enough.
Each one of them kind of make a bonehead move, you know, for the most part. But is it a bonehead move? You know what I mean? Because what we believe in a perception of what couple would have been the best together, right? You cheer for certain ones. They show you at the end really doesn't work out that way.
Not the way everybody planned, but yeah, absolutely. There's a idiotic move.
Yeah, the dating world is I don't know. It's the landscape changes. It changes so much, but yet stays the same in a sense. You know, with the society changing, with the rules, if you will, of society changing at the same time. You know, I'll have to quote my wonderful mother on this one.
She's pretty good at that.
Yeah, I do that a lot. There's no perfect life. You know, and whether it's with somebody or single at the time or like them, just with somebody for the time, right? But then the guy, what's his name? Connor. You
Yeah.
know, it would be Connor.
I know, right?
Connor.
Sorry
yeah.
if there's any Connors out there.
Yeah, sorry, Connor, if you're out there. But yeah, Connor, who's
Hey,
just like,
McGregor.
no, you want the life, just not with me, you know? And he's provided everything you could think of. But at least she was brave enough, though, to
Yeah,
go.
he scared the crap out of her. That's why, where she was like backed into a corner.
Well, I mean,
She threw up on him, but he
Yeah.
was backed. She was backed into a corner, technically.
sure, but the way it was painted too is like this dude's everybody's dream, or every girl's dream is that. When I say everybody, it's not everybody.
Yeah,
The way it's
not mine.
painted, but the way it's painted, what's funny is Connor offered the direct American dream.
The
Like,
paper dream.
the perfect
Yeah.
little American. We already have the house, the thing is there, and I'm already have plans. I know where I'm going. Everything's great. You'll be
Yeah.
fine. And no, and that's the plan that didn't, work out.
Yeah, he was far too soft for me.
Yeah.
In everything, his
It's a-
delivery, his
Same guy that plays
mannerism.
E in Entourage. He plays the same
Yeah, yeah.
dude. He plays the
Yeah.
same guy,
yeah.
chasing down the girl in a relationship that doesn't want to be with
Mhm.
him. Sloan was worth chasing down though.
Yeah, I don't
But
remember
E,
that.
yeah, he's little. But I forgot how I got to where I was talking about. I had a point.
I don't know.
It's rare, but I had a point.
Those happen every now and then.
Yeah, they're rare.
You were talking about how you were being forced to watch that type of a
Oh, it's way
movie and
back.
changing, and
Way back. Well, basically the offering of what is right of what Connor offered is what I was talking about, right? That
Okay.
Connor kind of presented the perfect picture, right? And that turns out to be almost the most losing relationship out of all of them that form. Even the ones that break up, that's a good thing, that the way they split,
Yeah.
but that was fine. It was
Mhm.
good for everybody. I kind of ended like, all right, everybody's right,
yeah,
other than that one, right? But that one was supposed to be the good one. He was he's
well,
an
it was a good
entrepreneur.
one because he ended up finding someone that would appreciate those things about him.
Yeah, and it's Drew Barrymore, so it was a good catch. It's a
Mhm.
good catch. He's never really been my thing.
She's a so-so.
Yeah, never really been my
Yeah.
thing. I think my brother had a thing for Drew.
She's not. She would make the not so hot list for me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, she would be a cool chick to hang out with. But-
Like we know her. Hey, Drew, you're all right. I saw
Yeah.
you once or twice in a movie.
I mean, she's totally cool looking and everything that she does.
Hey, she hung out with Adam Sandler really coolly, so she must be all right.
Yeah, but he managed to resist her
Yeah, I did.
for that long. They talked about it on a show where they said, well, as many schmovies is I just
Movies.
fast forwarded my voice. Movies.
That's like movies, but different.
Those are smoozy movies. Yeah, it's many of movies that they've done together that they never hooked up or did anything like that. They've kissed because it was in a scene, but even then they were saying it was just like,
Well, I don't know, and I don't care. Frankly, I have no idea, is what he said
yeah.
about that topic of who's dating who on some movie site. I could give a shit.
Okay.
I forgot what point I was getting to.
You just totally
Squirrel.
curbed it.
I just squirreled.
Yes.
All right, I scrolled way off. I was talking about the date. Oh,
The
yeah.
dude from
Okay,
Entourage.
so the picture perfect scene, right? If you take the idea of, and it sucks. I'm generally speaking, so if you're emailing or want to be like, you fucking, whatever you want to call me, I'm just generally speaking so we can have a conversation, people. All right. If the typical scene is that the guy whoever this guy Connor portrays, right, got it together, knows where he's going, has the house pre-purchased. I mean, he pre-purchased basically almost the house in case you just say, pull the trigger
Yeah.
and we make this happen. And that story doesn't line up, although that seems to be a lot of people's wants, right, of that story, male and female, right? I play in both. The Connors of the world, the males and females, both sides. And that one doesn't win out, right?
Right.
So how many times do people have that story and they want to shape it to look like that? So they almost enforce that story, right? If you're looking for, if you're going to buy a new Corvette, I talk about in my book, right? You're going to see more Corvettes. So if you're looking for the love, like the one girl,
I think
the short-haired girl,
Yeah.
she's all
The
flaky.
star of it.
You got me like chatting here about fucking.
Yeah.
I just caught what I'm doing.
That's okay.
I'm ashamed of myself.
Well, think about how many times it is that I cross over and I'm at the fights and I'm at all these other things and I'm
10-4.
jumping in both feet.
Yeah, you really did. You do that. I like that about you. And when I took you fishing, we're so squirrel. We'll come back to that, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of cliche what I'm talking about, right? How it doesn't fit but fit. But it's true. You do that when we went fishing, right? And we went poor man fishing.
That's
or,
kind.
Yeah, we went poor person fishing.
Poor.
Is that
yeah,
better?
That's fine with me.
All right. Yeah, I'm all progressive movement. Don't attack me.
Well, if you're talking about a man, you were talking about yourself, so that should be okay.
Yeah. All right. So we did that. So it's waiting, right? You go out in the water. We're in the Indian River for those people that I'm talking to. It's salt water. We're out there, but you're out there and shuffle along with me. And you have to shuffle, for those who don't know, if you're wading in the Indian River or some water in Florida, you have to shuffle your feet.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think I was telling you had to shuffle your feet for? You think I was fucking with you?
Yeah, I did. I thought you were just really, because you were saying things about alligators and stuff like that. And you know how I normally would, I'm not afraid of a lot, and that just freaks me the hell out. So,
I don't know too many people are like, oh, there's actually saltwater crocs in the Indian River. So but there's not many people are like, oh, alligators and crocs. I'm cool. No worries.
well, you seemed like it.
I don't like it. I mean, and I'll deal with it. But I mean, that's why I was looking around. But the point was, is you came out there and bravely didn't just scoot. Oh yeah, you have to scoot your feet around on the
Yeah.
flats that you're fishing. You're about waist deep or so, depends on how tall you are, and you have to scoot your feet around because there's stingrays all over the place. And if you just walk, they'll pop you and out.
Yeah.
So you're out there and you're shuffling around behind me, just, and I see you shuffling around. And we're talking about participating. You didn't just participate and go, like, all right, we're gonna, like it's the date, like you're the one girl, the short hair girl in a movie who's just like, we're gonna find love and I'm gonna do this thing I'm not good at all, right? And just
Yeah.
jump in. But you didn't. You dove in, and I watched you the entire time, kind of just looking back for you and crocodiles. I think I just got to outswim her. And no, I don't understand. It was bad. Anyway, but you cast and you cast and you cast and you cast. You didn't just throw it once or twice, like you really did it. And that kind of involvement, that's really, and you weren't just doing it to do it. You know what I mean? You can tell if somebody's just participating.
Yeah.
They want their fucking ribbon.
Yeah. When is it time to leave?
yeah. You didn't. And like a champ, you stayed there and scooted around in the water with me for a while. And yeah.
Well, thank you for the compliment. But honestly, I think it's just like there's lots of chicks like that. They just haven't been approached, or they sell themselves short, things like that. There's
Really?
lots of women like that.
Walk me through the mind of that woman. You got me intrigued. I started to build one. I was like a sketch artist, right? You started talking. I'm like, yeah, that woman, but she does, or he does even. Right?
It's just a matter of giving the opportunity or somebody to ask them. Think about how many times we've met couples and you can just tell that freaking woman is dying to jump out of that shell that she's made herself so comfortable in, and nobody's tried to crack it.
Yeah, even themselves, you see it.
Yeah.
I mean, and they bring up that person in the movie. They represent it by the female who's got boring, who's yelling at subcontractors and forgets and last minute tries to come and fuck her husband at work.
Yeah.
It's like a last minute Hail Mary,
I thought that couple was more like the one that you were describing, that was trying to be the picture perfect couple, the house they're building, renovating, all that,
Well, that would be the Connor couple soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start out the Connor couple. What the fuck is the Connor couple? That's a thing now. Yeah, that's the thing now. Well, to circle back, right, is that all the way back, the vision that a lot of people lay out, and some guys have it too, right? They have it, because they're in love with that woman, right? And it can be any sex too, okay? I don't want to discriminate. But they have that same idea, right? Is I'm going to work, take care of them, put the house up like Connor gets, hey, I got the house, you're ready, take care of, sacrifice, give up your life, let's do this, you ready? That really, chase the dream as much as a female may, right? Or anybody else that have that.
It plenty exists.
Yeah, to paint it. And it's such a, I mean, there's the levels, right? The meeting, the dating, the thing, and then the marriage, right? Just like they portray it. It's just what you naturally do.
What they think you're supposed to do, yes.
Yeah, and it turns out the happiest couple at the end of it on the sailboat is the one that never really, they weren't talking about getting married.
Well, they came to the conclusion that they didn't need it. And then when they both realized it, it was no longer such an issue if they decided to do it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
to
it
get
was
the tax break.
yeah, or so he could move back in instead of being on the boat.
Yeah, it's such a to tie into the marriage and then to untie from it is also it's difficult, right? And the idea, though, even if I can see somebody going, well, they should make it difficult. It shouldn't just be easy because you're mad one day and you undo it. And well, look, if you're the asshole that undoes it because you're mad one day, you're kind of an asshole. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be undoing it that much because you're mad one day. That's your own issue.
Yeah, that to me is a sheer sign that it wasn't quite as valuable as you thought it was.
What does she say about, like I did that? See what I did there?
I saw.
What
I
does
heard it too.
What does she say about, the idea of the contractual agreement and then the split, when the split has to become where you're splitting everything, or it just doesn't go back to normal, right? A lot of men and women both. Women get shorted child support. Fathers get shorted child support, back and forth, right?
Mhm.
People lose half of their stuff, right? Things they never paid for, things they came in with. Where's your stand there? Is that? Because for me, it's kind of like, if you came together and you broke up, you just decided not to do it anymore. But it's so much like I don't know. It's like trying to get out of the cube in the movie.
Yeah. I think it's all it's every situation is different. Everything is circumstantial and the way you're going to approach it. I mean, what you're willing to risk is usually as amazing as what you're willing to get with that risk.
So if it's over, should it be just over? And this was your stuff that you came in with. This was your stuff that you came in with. And with like alimony, this kind of stuff, right? It's paid both ways a lot of time.
Yeah. I think I mean, of course you should do a split. I mean, even split. I believe in that. I mean, that's what I did. When I got a divorce, it was cut straight through the middle. It was cut straight through the middle, and you go your way and you put in your time if you have children. But yeah, what else is there? What else do you need?
Yeah, that's such the fine line, right? Because there's such a negative cloud over the idea of a divorced family, right? It's almost like, oh, he's from foster care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're the step just above that. You're not quite Taco Bell, you know what I mean? But you're just above that.
Right.
If you're like, oh, he's from a broken home. Even the definition of a broken home. But there's that line, right, of sacrifice and love we talked about on last show. That line of where people go, okay, well, we stay married because the kids, right? We played out.
Mm-hmm.
And people sacrifice their happiness, their daily routine, their self-respect, so much to
Those
keep
things
that
are so visible with the people that are living with them.
Well, to keep that picture, right?
Yeah.
And that line is so difficult for people to where they go, because divorce has that, oh, you're foster child, right? It has that thing, hell, it felt like I lost friends when I got divorced. It felt like, oh, you're divorced, I can't fucking talk to you anymore.
Well, you do. That's
like I
what
changed
happens.
teams or something.
Yeah, you go, well, that one, he got those people in the divorce or vice. Yeah. I mean, that's natural. I would expect that to happen. I would kick my friend's ass if they were, oh, let me go over to his place when we started this friendship with me.
Well, my married friends were the more ones that I stopped hearing from.
Yeah.
They just were kind of like, I don't fucking want to talk to you anymore. They didn't say that, but it just kind of seemed like that. I was like, oh, I'm not on the you get it team anymore.
Did you feel a little bit like you were blackballed by the women?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, one in particular was kind of like, hi,
Adam.
Yeah. I don't want you influencing my husband.
Yes.
Stay the fuck away from him.
Yeah. We realize you just cut the umbilical cord and you're ready to go play.
Yeah, but I wasn't. I wasn't. But well, back, right? That line of that balance of staying for the kids. I always say if you're staying for the kids, you're making a mistake. You have to leave, because there's the other side of it that so many people don't look at, is the opportunity that you get to show your children that you can take care of yourself, that you can overcome something like that. I mean, if your own kid came to you and said, hey, my significant other did such and such and such, and it was a line breaker, would you look at them and say, go take care of yourself, be happy, you don't need them? And if you'd give that advice, are you even willing to take your own fucking advice? So there's that line where people go, I'll stay in it. I made the commitment. The contract's there. There's so much to unweave and unravel if we do it. We'll just, stay with it, and the kids will be 18, and then, all right, we'll.
Well, it seems to me like when you think about this, how many people say, I'm so glad that my mother toughed it out with my dad every time he beat the shit out of her. I would not have been able to get to school on time if my mom didn't stay there. But if your mother left or whatever, then you hear a lot more. I respect my mother for leaving when she did. They don't hate the mother.
Yeah, that would be crazy to hear somebody say that.
I mean, it's hard. But
I'm glad she stayed for 26 years and took what she took, so I could get that. I'd be like, fuck no.
Right.
Yeah. I remember the morning my mom was leaving quite vividly, and she had finally decided for the 85th time. This time was going to be real though, but she, I could see she had made her mind up packing her little Escort, Ford
Yeah.
Escort with the shit she could fit in it. And she was out. It was just leaving me there, and she was bouncing. And I remember kind of at the door, like I was kind of like a cheerleader. I was kind of like, go. I was like, get the fuck out of here, roll, do your thing. And for me, there was strength in that.
Yeah.
There was hurt in that too. A lot of things
Sure.
that came with it personally, but kind of a save yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fucking roll.
you were like you were just saying about with me earlier, saying, I got this. Go.
Yeah.
Live your life finally. Enjoy yourself or whatever, that you're going to be okay because of how old you were, or I'm thinking how strong you were.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't necessarily the age.
it wasn't, there wasn't anything chivalrous about it. I just wanted to yell and to stop. I just wanted what the fuck was happening in the house to stop.
You wanted the burning to go away.
Just fucking you go. I'll just go on. But I do, that sinks in. So, when I ended a couple tough relationships and, and walked away, I remembered that, of going.
That same feeling almost of
setting
them free.
Yeah. Kind of like my mom showed me that. She showed that after so long and so much, you can do that, you know what I mean? And make a different life. And it was hard for everybody. Don't get me wrong. It's tough on whether you believe in the divorce or whatever. It's hard, but it was still her choice, But it showed me something different. So if she did the opposite, right, which was stay regardless, and maybe till I did leave high school or something, well, maybe I do stay with that wrong girl, right, that I'm not supposed to be with, but I had made the commitment, right? I did the thing, and maybe I make that choice.
And that's my whole point about that. And then what? If you make that choice, to me, you're forever looking out the window.
Well, I'm going to get personal. How did you balance it with the idea of keep the family together because the kids are there, and then I can't do this what they would say for the kids, right, anymore? And because I get to see the other end of it, right? The what it did show them, how to take care of you, and going to take care of you, to say I refuse to live this way anymore. But how did you come to that conclusion?
There was never a time when I was married when I was literally going to go, I'm out of here. I'm getting a divorce, because I kept having children, thinking, of course, that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then, sorry. So then when he cheated on me,
that was the one.
That's when I even mentally tried to be forgiving.
Did you try like the one couple?
No.
This is perfect.
No, I did not try like that at all. I did absolutely not.
Okay.
She went and tried to seduce or whatever, and
no, she took the blame. First, she was like, "It's my fault. He chose to cheat." Remember?
Yeah, no, I didn't ever take the blame either.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, you're too strong.
I know. I felt like I was actually. I mean, and this might be something stupid to say, but I felt like I was actually a really good wife. So I didn't question my decision when I felt like the respect was thrown out the window.
Bam! You were just done.
Yeah,
that was it for you.
My brother said to him, "Don't ever let her see what it's like to live without you, because she won't come back."
Oh shit! Yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
So for you really did stick to that, to where after so long, that was the deal breaker, and left on that. And I think so many people, that's such a hard place to be in, right? Is when that happens, you think, well, it's for my kid, right? I'll do what? And if you really play that forward, what are you really saying? If you say, I'll stay for my kid, what do you hear? What does she say when you hear, I'll stay for my kid?
Self-doubt. I mean, they might really stay for the child because they think that's what's best for them. But I think ultimately it's because they don't trust themselves to be able to provide or give them what they can have without their father in their life. And it doesn't even have to be that. That's the sucky thing. I know that there are extreme circumstances and stuff like that, but it's kind of one of those things where you just have to choose ultimately what is the most important thing to you. And sometimes you have to bite the bullet and put up with bullshit during the divorce with the other spouse or the ex.
Yeah. I keep it personal, but I'll tell myself too, like the way I dealt with, the impact of the child was with that rationale, which was if she was in that situation, I'd want her to be happy and make a choice of something. And if that's the advice I would give her, how
Yeah.
dare I not live it? I would be a hypocrite to tell her something to do that I couldn't live. And, for you, well, I don't know, how was it for you thinking about, oh God, the D word is coming and then the effect on my children?
It didn't matter to me then. The D word.
Mm,
To me, marriage isn't just the paper. So I was divorced the day that I found out that he cheated on me and didn't want to be together anymore.
yeah.
It was like somebody, I can't even take all the credit for the strength in it because he made it very easy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really divorce him. He divorced me when he made that decision.
Well, you bring up a point. There's some people out there, right, that said, I wish that he or she would cheat on me, then I could hate him and leave him. And,
I don't even hate my ex.
well, that's good. That's
Yeah,
always
I
a
don't
good
hate
thing.
him.
If you can try to keep the hate out, I think that's, especially with kids involved. That's
I mean, it goes in waves and stuff like that, but I don't hate him. I'll tell you what the worst part about everything was when it involved children was them feeling when you recognize them feeling like needing to be loyal to you or to the other person. Um, like my oldest Matthew, he did go and stay with his father for the high school years, and that was detrimental to me. Like that was just like, ugh, I could throw up. But I can totally understand why Matthew did do that. I didn't end up, I mean, now being older, I recognize that it really wasn't something personal. It was more him trying to, of course, be in the fun place, but also, be there for the other parent.
Well, if you were to listen to us this far, you probably wouldn't want to date ever again, right? Or even take it all the way. We started talking about marriage, divorce already. When the idea is, the games of dating, right,
Yeah.
is what we were talking about. And well, a lot of times those games that start in the beginning of dating go into the relationship. Because look, we can play off something with a word like games that makes something or behaviors lighthearted, etc. But a lot of times those games are there because the person is trying to fill a void or a hole or something, or is needing something. There's a reward-based system there in that behavior. And even if the relationship is to develop into something serious, more than likely those same games are going to roll forward into a serious relationship and manifest into other forms of games, if you will.
Well, it's kind of like what your mom said, when people show you who they are, believe them. And that's often in the beginning of the relationship before, like if you just know them as a person, pay attention to that.
Yeah. It's hard. And I've said before, a lot of the reasons we fall in love with somebody in the beginning
Yeah.
end up being the reasons we despise them or we can't be around them.
You did say that to me.
Yeah, it becomes that because it's something foreign to you a lot of times, or it's something you identify with. It can be various things. And then it's the reason you're like, wow, they're so. And then like 2 years later, you're like, they're so fucking, and you're like, wait a minute, that's what you fell in love with.
Yeah. That's a sad story to me. It really is. Like, who's in the wrong there? That person didn't change. The person's perception changed of what that person does. So the asshole is the person that's going, yeah, but now he does this.
It changed the perception.
Yeah.
And by the way, anybody feel like calling in, feel free, dial 1-305-741-4235. That's a 305 area code. Marathon Keys, baby. 305.
Caller number 3 will be.
We're not that sophisticated yet, but 305-741-4235. And you can add the discussion here on Late Night Radio Talk with He Said, She Said, Patricia and Adam hanging out in the studio.
With my scary. Are you still there?
Oh, yeah. That wasn't very it, but when you hit that voice, sometimes it's so perfect, like the way it's laid out. It's like, that is too creepy.
Yeah, like the computer is in the room alone. And you were just talking to it, something of that sort.
So you meet somebody, you feel a connection. How long do you call?
I don't put a time frame. If I feel like it, I do it.
So as the woman, you feel the connection, it's there, you make the call. You reach out. You don't wait.
I won't have to if I feel that right connection.
Listen to you.
I'm serious.
Well, I guess you're right, right? I mean, just like the lesson, another little side funny lesson of that movie, right? Is like,
Yeah.
look, if the guy's not calling you, he's obviously not into you. He's not like playing a game or has to do that. And it's the truth. That's so many people, right? Though we ignore exactly what's right in front of us and say, oh, it must be.
We make excuses for it. Well, it was just bad timing for him. I'm sure that if I really got to have a conversation with him, that he'd be obsessed and he'd call me. I was trying to sound like that chick.
So Danny and I had rules. So it's 3-day minimum.
Uh-huh.
We I don't know, she gets a 3-day minimum. So if a number would change, it'd be a 3-day minimum. It was structured that way. And that was just a guide code.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just something that our guide code, right? That you'd stick with. And I think some people do or don't, but I mean, those are part of the games, right? That people play. And here's the phrase you hear everyone. You hear a lot of people say, well, I don't want any games. I'm just not into drama.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Well, part of that is kind of courting, though, right? It's kind of the push pull. I'm not gonna kiss you. I will kiss you. That's funny. I don't know. Try harder. You know what I mean? Like that. That's kind of it's what we resorted to as far as courting, right? It used to be kill the animal, give it to the father, and then maybe you could, I was born late, but but now it's kind of the courting of what today is.
Yeah. The whole courting today has changed immensely because of the internet. That's what really sucks. Before, you'd have to kind of go out of your way to go see that person or talk to them and develop something. Like, I remember, this is going to totally age me, but I loved running and racing to answer the phone, instead of the whole cell phone thing. But, just little things that have changed. But so I think that courting thing has changed immensely with nowadays.
Yeah, you can damn near track everyone's move.
Oh, yeah. And especially if you're somebody that's, really computer savvy, that knows what, like, not me, where you probably could track me wherever I was just shopping.
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't want to.
Well,
no. See, for me, it loses the fun in it. I've never really been the guy in a relationship that's like, where are you going? Who's that? Give me the phone. I've never. It totally fucking kills the relationship. I don't care if you're just dating or you're in the relationship.
Mhm.
I mean, this is what I used to tell myself. I was like, look, if it's fucking happening, A, I don't want to fucking know. B, I'm going to find the fuck out eventually. So I might as well just act like it's all good and enjoy it, And frankly, I've never technically caught anybody. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I haven't technically caught anybody. So I've never been much for the who's that, where you going, what's the phone, that shit. That doesn't float at all.
Nope, that's never who I was. I can actually say that. I was probably a little bit to the extreme on the opposite side, where I probably could have called and said, "Why aren't you home?" I never did that. But that was, of course, during marriage, not dating.
Yeah, dating, you have to walk that fine line, right? Of it was Leo that he's been on the podcast. I write about him all the time. Episode 52. He gives his how to find the right relationships, right? The steps. Now, again, sure, I think it's great application. It's a good filter.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any right way to find, the right relationship.
No, I think it's just putting yourself in the position where you can be found. Meaning, love yourself, be into yourself to where you're approachable. If you're not approachable, then someone's probably not going to find you.
Yeah. And each time I hear my mom, there's no perfect life. But a lot of times, though, that saying can also resign you to the fact of, hey, there's no perfect life. At least this husband or girlfriend, whatever, does this, right? They meet the standard of this at least. All I got to do is overlook this. And,
pick your battles.
Right. And fine, I'll deal with it. How many people just deal with who they're with or cope with it because they don't want to be in the dating pool, because they don't want to get back out there and have to sift through the, stage 5 clingers and the, you know what I mean? They don't want to sift through that. So they just kind of, roll it off.
I would say a large majority do that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many people become so content with their life that they're not like continuously trying to feed it to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, why they get where they get.
Yeah, I used to say things. It's hard to grasp, right? As so many people think they have a right to a relationship, right? They simply say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm alive. I can cultivate a life and a relationship with someone." But if you thought for a second of it more like a driver's license, more that, what do you bring to the table? Do you bring a good self love, right? I used to use the bubbles as the example. How
Yeah.
many? And it's not just like, what do you bring to the table as far as money, support, not the basics, right? Because we know how Connor turned out. Right? You can bring the money, the structure, the whole thing, but if that connection is not there. But a lot of times a relationship isn't something you're owed. It's not something you deserve just because you're here. And a lot of times it's better to forego trying to have a relationship when maybe it's not the idea of not ready, but if you're not willing to bring certain things to the table at all, of being able to say, hey, I'm not that I'm not ready for it, but sometimes, hey, I don't deserve it right now. And
Or then you're probably not ready if you don't deserve it right now. That's, to me, I would much rather somebody just keep it real and say, I actually dated somebody where he was way out there and said that and was very honest. And the question was never approached like, I would like that.
yeah,
But it was just like way up front of, that's really not kind of my story. And, I wasn't dating him for that reason either. It was just kind of one of those things where you enjoyed company.
yeah.
But no.
Yeah, the upfront honesty stuff can
Yeah.
it helps, but a lot of times that's the game too, though. Wherever what side you're coming from, and that's another back to the dating game, right?
Mhm.
Of like, look how many games that poor short hair girl. They really stereotyped the girl in that one who's
She
calling.
exists.
Yeah, oh
She
yeah,
does a
she's
lot.
called me.
Yeah, yeah.
They've
Yeah.
left messages.
Yeah.
That short. What's her name in the movie?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the short hair girl's like looking for the relationship.
Yeah.
Everything's out. That's that. Now, I've been on the date before where it's you order something and they're like, "Oh, I was gonna order that too." Oh my god, everything's a fucking coincidence. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're like, there's two things on the menu. It's special order menu. Baby. We had a 50-50 shot off rip. So
Yeah.
but when you're looking for the Corvette, right? When you're buying one, you're gonna see a bunch of them on the road. But again, if anybody had any fucking right answers to any of this, to any relationship, there wouldn't be 6 million trillion books on,
Right.
on how to do it. But yet we'll still pull up the article that it says 10 things not to do in a relationship. We'll still pull that shit up, even though I don't think there's any magic key to this shit.
No, I think it's just like a diet. Everybody is circumstantial, how they in your blood. You know how somebody can do one thing and if they have different blood, it's just like they react 100% different.
Yeah. I mean, Front Street, I took my marriage textbook. I mean, I was counselor man at the time. So, I mean, of course, I weighed the options and the things and the bet. I was like, this is matches on the thing. Okay, this is something you do.
Yeah.
And at the end, I was like, I kind of felt like the blonde chick with Connor.
Yeah.
Going, oh, the house and the stuff. And then, no, not with you.
No.
And that's sad as fuck to a point.
It is, but at the same
Isn't
time.
it sadder to stay, though, right?
Yes.
30 years later.
That's freaking jail.
God. Well, we talked about love being sacrificed last week, but so I don't want to get too wrapped up in talking about the definition of love or what it means. I kind of like what my perception I've been saying lately. Love is irrational anyway, so approach it irrationally and accept any avenues possible. Because when I applied the rational approach to a rational, irrational idea like love, well, I failed. I failed at it, or whatever failed would mean. All right, somebody would attack me on failing. I get it, but the love with you is irrational as fuck from the beginning, but it's fucking magical. And so for me, maybe, being able to live in that optimistic idea of the irrational that love is what it's like to ride that roller coaster of a relationship.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or date.
Yeah. There's too many rules on it. And when you put the rules there, it becomes work instead of fun.
But all right, so now let's play devil's advocate. Let's flip it. Let's say fuck the rules, okay? And then
I
you
didn't
meet
say
her.
fuck the rules.
Okay, you
I
did.
said there's too many. Don't get it twisted. There's rules. Don't make this come out.
Yeah, it's true. You did. Right, but let's work backwards. Right, let's go to the opposite of the spectrum.
Okay.
So let's throw the rules out. Your friend calls you, and I don't know. Let's say I remember this. The cashier today at Publix. Her name was Caitlin. let's say you call your friend Caitlin. You're like, Caitlin, I met this one guy. Not quite sure what he really does for a living or something. You can't explain much about the
Yeah.
guy, and you just say, hey, we're running off together because it feels right. Now,
Mhm.
this is, let's say, no, you know what? Let's say you're Caitlin. The friend calls you and says
My
this.
Caitlin, okay.
Right, you're Caitlin. The friend calls you, right? And now they're doing the other one. There are no rules. We traded numbers. I called him or whatever, right? We broke every rule. We had sex on the first night. He's in it too. He's with it. We're going to run off to Vegas and get married.
I would say that she was on crack.
Why? But there's no
It's-
rules. Or wait, there's some rules.
I'm talking about mine, not theirs.
Okay. your
They can do
rules.
whatever they want, but I would still say you're on crack to that particular action. Because it's so binding
Yeah.
so quickly.
Oh, yeah. Reminds me. I never got to the point about Leo, which is that he would say that it takes a year for the real person to come out. That the interview, I think, is as he refers it to, lasts for about a year. That after a year, you really start to meet the person, not necessarily that you live with them, right? But just that year, you
Sure.
actually meet them. And that in that year, if you wouldn't commit right then to something long term, to end it, it's kind of like, now he may listen to this and go, that's not what I said. You're fucking it up.
Yeah.
But maybe I added a little my own bias in there. I think I did. You do a year if you're not willing to commit, because that was the other relationship too in that movie where they were engaged 7 years, or no, together 7 years, never get married, right? That happened to a relation friend of mine who was engaged 9 years and then never worked and ends. So he's saying, after that year, the job interview's there. And if you're not seriously would go to whatever that level would be, the proverbial step. I fucking hate the steps. It's such a social construct. To walk away. What do you think? What does she say? Is that like the eighth person?
Yeah. I think that's far too much thought put into something that should be so easy.
Oh, again.
Guidelines.
Damn, you're right.
It's to me, I would, if it's working in a year and it's not, I don't feel like discontent, like I'm looking around for something better, then I'm just going to stay there because it's fun for me. But it doesn't mean I'm going to go, it's been a year and I really haven't decided to nail it down.
That was a rule for me when I dated. That literally was my mental rule. When I was a single guy and I date, the second it wasn't fun anymore, I would go, I have to leave now because this isn't fun.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, so was not being fun anymore.
Well, I guess that's okay. I mean, it depends on what you guys, you left relationships because of that?
Relationships? I said dating.
Oh, okay.
Dating. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm dating and it already becomes not fun.
What is dating?
Yeah. What is it? Right.
Is it just sleeping together and randomly going out to dinner?
Let's go to high school. You have to, Patricia, will you go out with me?
Yeah. I made you do that.
He's so old school. You never even asked me. Yeah, of course I do.
Okay. You're
No.
lying.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you or not?
I do actually.
Okay.
I do. That's too many I do. So
Yeah, there won't be another.
Yeah. Cheers.
That wasn't nice.
I wasn't, but I'll cheers to it. Where were we? Oh yeah. What is dating, right? Because when do you cross the line between like we used to say was like, oh, we just seeing each other. Somebody like, oh, me and Adam are dating. I'm like, no, I'm just seeing that girl, man.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing that girl. That was
We're talking.
We're talking. Yeah. Oh, that was first. Now you can move from talking.
Oh, we talking.
Seeing each other is, we talking. We seeing each other, but no, it ain't serious.
Yeah. What was the question?
I don't know. Oh yeah, what was dating?
Oh, okay.
So it's really, I can't.
Dating, I think, is when you've gone out with maybe more than 3 times.
You got to have the talk.
Which
I
one?
think the talk is when it changes from dating. We are dating is, I'm hoping they're not fucking anybody else. And
Honestly, I would just have that conversation. I would just.
Well, that's
say
when
that.
it changes. I think when you sit down and have the conversation of, I am not having sexual relations or emotional ties, if you will, with someone else. And I'm only going to have it with you.
That would not turn me on.
I would not at all. I would take it very slow.
Okay.
But my point is the talk. However you take that approach, right?
Yeah.
Is when that talk happens, I think that's when it transfers from the we're just talking. Yeah, we're dating. I seen her a few times. I mean, I don't know her, but I seen her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That transfer from we've gone out, we've talked. My phone may not be on. You know what I mean? When we transfer to that, I think is when that conversation happens. And I wonder how many relationships live in that gray area of the unknown and never survive because they don't have the conversation.
One is more into the other than the other one.
Possibly.
That's when that one happens.
Yeah.
People are too, majority of people, I should say, if they want something, they just find a way to make it happen or get it.
Yeah, you always think about somebody that may chase the woman down, right? That you think the woman or the man you want to be with is somebody that you chase to get, right? You hear the stories sometimes at a brunch, some fucker's talking too loud, right? His insurance lapel shirt on is.
I don't chase. I send someone else to chase.
Well, you hear and you're like, yeah, it's she didn't call me for
joke.
2 weeks, and then of course I do. And they play it up on how she just wouldn't listen to me, wouldn't take the call. And finally she gave in, and we've been married for 3 years now.
Yeah, because she was the tough one, right?
Right, but one's chasing the other, and all I really see there is eventually one's going to be bored eventually, and one's going to keep chasing. Right, I can't see that blossoming into something.
The way that you describe that does seem like the type of relationship that turns into, well, you're here, I'm here.
Yeah, like the
Instead of
one guy who just
yeah.
kind of was sitting alone, who either owned or managed the
bar, yeah.
the supper club, right? Cat's like, shit, she's right, I'm alone. Fuck, I'm gonna go back to the crazy chick, you know, and he runs to her. Yeah, it's usually that person.
Yeah. I think that's when people actually even decide to try relationships. Is when they feel like they're done.
It's fucking odd, though. No, I don't want to say odd. I guess we know, and maybe I'm just older now or something, but how many people I realized are fucking cheated on or fucking do cheating. It's like, it's wild. Now, I mean, and I'm talking 30-year marriage type shit. I'm not talking like we're dating, we're talking, you cheated, you had a 3-monther and then you met somebody else. Not that small, weird dating game area, gray area. I mean, like the people have been together 20, 30, 40 fucking years. You know what I mean? That just either disappear with somebody else,
It's almost like they lose their mind when they've been married that long and they take that step of cheating. It's like they have that fuck it kind of attitude. Like, I've already ruined my life, my wife's life, my husband's life, whoever's doing the cheating, where they just throw it all out the window. Like, oh, well.
Yeah. They seem to just, it's wild. So
become
how do you
self-destructive?
Well, who are we to say that maybe that marriage at one point was the shit? It was awesome. It worked out, right? And maybe they were young when they got together and they've only had like 2 people or just themselves. So then a lot of times you get the backstory and you're like, all right, they were together 30 years. They've been dating since 7th grade. Homegirl or homeboy tripped out, had an issue, and you kind of go, I get it, And some people go, no, I don't fucking get it. Right? It's 30 fucking years, right? You made the commitment, right? There's such that argument there of what is or what's supposed to be, man. And it just,
Those are the things where I say it's circumstantial.
Sure. But the older I get, I'm going to squirrel some shit together. It'll come together. My whole life, I've walked around because I watched a marriage that was not ideal. If anything, I could have made little wristbands that said, what would they do not to do it? At least that was helpful. So I kind of walked around pessimistic, investigative, looking at marriages, relationships. Is that one healthy? Is that good? And I've seen a lot of people. I've met a lot of people, seen a lot of marriages. And sadly, I remember maybe 4 that I kind of go, there's probably a chance. And 2 of those people are probably already divorced, but there's a few relationships that I've really seen where that stuck out to me anyway. And that's and I'm sure I missed 1 or 2 that in their own, do their own thing, have their own, whatever that in my filter, my perception didn't recognize as happy, but was. So there's that room.
Right.
But on a mass majority, I'm talking 98%.
Aren't.
Yeah. Like I don't. But then where do we bring in the line, right? Can you hear my mom? There's no perfect life, right? And so I'm like, okay, so where's the settling versus the no perfect life accepting? Where's it for you?
Um,
Am I the only one drinking wine tonight? I think I am.
no, I was drinking. I know that the sound of me swallowing in the microphone is not the greatest sound.
That's
It's a different show.
I'm saying that's subjective. The wine tonight again is Misbehave or Misbehaved.
I think that one was my selection.
Yeah, it was. It was a good selection, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Anywho, what was the question to me as far as what my perception was, or what you were asking me what my opinion was on, or me specifically? What was it? Guidelines?
No, you dodged the question well, though.
No, no, I'm not a dodger.
You're definitely not.
No,
I don't know. We were talking. What were we talking?
I don't know. I think I'm probably glad I forgot it because I was uncomfortable for half a second.
Now, I heard that's where the change is.
Yeah, I think it is.
No, but I don't know. I wanted to know if I could take it back. Somebody call in right now. All right. If you listened and you remembered what the dang question was, I'm pulling up the phone number again. Call in 305-741-4235. Call that number and tell me what the fuck it is. I asked Patricia because I want to know what that answer was that I wanted to ask. Now, we can listen to it tomorrow. I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
It was some line about something.
I don't know.
What were we talking about before that?
Oh God.
We can do this together.
I know, right?
We can do this together. Again, you can call 305-741-4235.
Did you have a negative attitude towards being in relationships as you were dating? I mean, was it like when you were dating and you decided you were in a relationship, did you feel almost like, okay, fine, I'm giving in? Like the majority of the negative attitude towards marriage, did you have that same attitude towards commitment?
No, I think I tried to go into it with an optimistic, view. I try to go, all right, we're gonna do this shit.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna, we're gonna, try this, I guess, to a point. And unfortunately, I tend to play the chess game way too much and too often, and would soil the now because I would play the pieces forward, and more than likely, somewhere along the way, would spoil.
Did you feel like you were playing the chess game when you met me?
No, that was a different. Yeah, that's the cool part is what I'm saying. Yeah, the difference of the idea of, dating games, right? The idea of 3-day rule, right? I don't call for 3 days, right? Or whatever it was. None of that applied.
Yeah.
Again, it was irrational, but none of that applied. So no, I didn't approach the dating games with you. So I think that's a cool difference you point out, right? Is if I'm out there to meet somebody, but I take the position of the belief that this is a game to be played, that because I've been cheated on, manipulated, lied to multiple times, 1 or 2 times, that everybody I'm meeting is out to play that same game.
I know. And when you've been, I hate to use the word victim nowadays, but when you've been...
Oh, it's okay. It's loosely used all the time.
Well, when you've been a victim of somebody cheating or having an affair, whatever, you recognize the behavior that person had.
Sure.
And then so when someone is doing that, it's natural to go, yeah.
And that's usually the one that's checking your shit. Usually the one that's on your phone going, hey, where you? And now if you've given clear signals, by the way, that's your ass.
Yeah.
But if you're not giving clear signals in left field Tuesday, you're watching the show and he or she's like, give me your phone. They're going through all your stuff. Do you even like me anymore? Do you I'm going, whoa, shit. I would be like, what'd you do?
Right.
What did you fucking do?
Oh, well, see, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I've not ever taken that aspect because sometimes I've had questions before and I wasn't doing those things.
Yeah.
So I try to remember those things when I'm spouting that off. It's kind of like when people say people joke with what they really mean.
Yeah.
I don't always do that. Sometimes I joke about shit I don't mean. So it's hard for me to go, well, that's true. So the same thing for relationships go. If somebody's thinking that I'm cheating because I'm asking you if you're cheating, that's not always true.
Yeah, you find a lot of the I was making left field into the save the people relationships. I've heard, I can't remember who it was, and don't point them out if you remember who it was at the house talking about. I can't remember, but he was saying that a friend of his found somebody and was hanging out with this person and said, "Oh man, I got a lot of work to do."
Mhm.
You know, as if like, all right, I'm going to be with this person. I got work to do. The fixer upper, right? The I'm going to take care of them. Nobody's
Oh,
ever
yeah.
loved them. You know, they don't, or he or she doesn't have this or that. The I'm going to take care of them. You know, person who's looking for that relationship.
Yeah, I think when people are looking for that relationship, that's probably where they find their value, is to be able to help someone.
Or avoid yourself.
Yeah.
It's easier to try to take care of somebody else than yourself a lot of the time.
It was actually difficult for me to be as embraced as I was by you.
Go on.
um, well, there are certain things like compliments that you get from people, sure, and obviously they're always appreciated, but it was difficult for me to have someone smile longer or hug you at a different time than it wasn't just like flirty hug.
Yeah.
Flirty
Putting in
hugs.
my work hug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's after work. I'm supposed to hug you now.
Yeah.
I'm home. Here's the hi, honey, the kiss, the hug. I did the thing. All right.
No, all those things were hard in the beginning for me to. I would almost get that reaction of, "Ah." You know what I mean?
Oh no, I was Connor.
Yeah. No, it was a good thing for sure, but it was hard for me to just like you.
Yeah,
It was
we
hard
were
for
both
you.
approached. I was like, "What are you doing? Something nice for me for what? What's your angle? Have you met me? Do you know me? After you know me, you're gonna change your mind." You know, it was well. It's really difficult. I think you pointed that shit out to me, and not a lot of people have been able to say that to me, or if anybody, you know, is that Adam, you have you deserve to be loved. And for me, I didn't realize how much I really thought somebody was dealing with my shit. You know, a lot of men say that. I hear a lot of my guy friends say that. Oh, she deals with my shit. Ever since then, I'm become nah. You change that with me. It's like if somebody's dealing with my shit, then what do I think of myself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If she deals with me, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, the fuck are you, man? You know, and we accept the love that we think we deserve. Period. Fucking period. You know, if we're with somebody and we're taking the abuse, we're taking the cheating, we say it's for the kids, we rationalize that shit. And we truly accept the love we think we fucking deserve, man. You teach people how to treat you, the smartest fucking thing Dr. Phil has ever fucking said. We teach people how to treat you. You do that, and we accept the love that you think you deserve.
Yeah. And then if you don't, then you deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many times have you said to a friend or something, well, did you tell her that?
Yeah.
And their response is,
well,
no, dude.
Well, she
she'd
knows.
probably get pissed. Or,
she knows.
oh, wait.
He knows.
I called out one of your friends the other day about that. I won't say the name.
Yeah.
But he kept on saying, she does this, she does that, or whatever. And I was like, well, what did she say? Well, he was like, she has to know. And I'm like, well, did you tell her?
Yeah. Did you tell her? Yeah, she knows.
Well, she's got to know is what his response was. Remember, it was, she's got to know. No, she doesn't got to know.
Did you actually say
Yeah.
it? You know how many people
Frickin'
don't
tell her.
Yeah, they don't. Well, I dropped like 87,000 hens.
We've had those things before where you just go, I hope he knows that I would like for this to happen, or I'd like to go there.
Yeah.
Just say.
Well, sometimes the after effect when I tell you helps. And I'm like, you know what? I had an expectation yesterday. I set it forward. And in that expectation, you couldn't read my mind. So today I'll communicate what that was so you could do it.
Do not
and then,
share.
No, and then I did the
I'm
then,
only kidding.
Then a reverse happened.
Yeah.
And then it's funny to go like, now I'll try to actually communicate what I meant to communicate through my own assumption.
Yeah. And when someone does that, when you take that time to communicate that way, it slows me down to go, maybe I should try that approach because it worked for me.
Check
Okay.
it, look at it.
All right. Make me scratch my brain.
Oh man, we just got multicultural as we leave dating.
Oh,
advice.
Grandpa, I would do that all the time with my girlfriends. Oh no, he's
Yeah, you would. Now I would definitely be with I'm saying it, a white girl that would wear braids once in her life. Yeah.
I have before and I love it.
Well, don't tell anybody because I've had braids too.
To me, I like to try. Okay, you know what? Let me address that. You were asking me something about Caitlin. How she would react if the whole Vegas thing.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
Well,
Your friend calls you and goes, "Oh my God, I fell in love. He's awesome. I don't know what he does. Could be a gangster. I'm not sure, but we're running off together. We're getting married."
yeah.
And your response would be,
Well, yeah, my response was you're a dipshit because it's so permanent. I wouldn't say
you're on
you're a
crack,
dipshit
you
if
said.
you're going to go spend the weekend with him in Vegas. I'd be going, woo, yeah,
Right, have fun,
you
yeah.
know. But if you're going to make it such a commitment, then that's when I would be have a different outlook on it.
Yeah, I mean, when do you know when you're supposed to get married? When do you just know? I know for 50% of my friends, it's when their girlfriend got pregnant.
Supposed to.
Right, that's when it
Supposed to get
happened.
married. Yeah. And if you decide that it needs to be sped up because of that, who cares? It doesn't necessarily have to mean the reason. It just means it worked out better for you financially, even though eventually you were going to get married anyway.
It's odd how much I've seen that social construct weigh a motherfucker. When they're like, "Well, man, you know, I get the call." I mean,
So are you never going to get married again in life? Do you have that? Are you opposed? What is your take on that now that you've experienced it?
to say never would be irrational, right?
Mhm.
I mean, to set forth a concrete belief in the future of someone would be irrational to state. I don't want to be the typical guy in the Guy Harvey shirt and flip flops who's been divorced, who has one too many beers in his construction company, turns around and goes, "Hell no, I ain't never getting married. Fuck
Yeah.
that shit." You know what I mean? But he'll get married 4 more times.
Yeah.
Outside, I don't want to be that
I ain't
person.
never met Louise before that shit. How
Yeah.
was I supposed to know that I was going to fucking marry her?
Twice.
Her fucking sister. I married her first, and I didn't know I was going to get divorced.
Jesus, we just went out there.
I know that was
We
bad.
do this, people. We change voices randomly when no one's watching and the camera's on.
Just yesterday when I called. That would be fun to share. Another day.
Yeah, another day.
Perhaps.
What were we talking about again?
Choices
No.
in relationships.
I can't remember. We scrolled off the left field, but
We did.
I mean-
I think we were. I was actually getting to talk to about Caitlin and
yes.
how I basically when I started dating you.
Shit.
I know. I wanted every ounce of my decision to be solely mine.
Yeah.
So I really isolated myself from a lot of things in my life because I didn't want any distractions because everybody else or a lot of the people in my life are trying to have rational lives.
I'm down in the wine.
Yeah, that's it. So
I think
I
that's
tried
a
to make
good-
it all my decision to where everything I did wasn't because, you know, sometimes people make the mistake of, say they get in a fight with their boyfriend and they go to their girlfriend and go, "That fucking asshole did this, and you know what he said about you?" You know, where they just
Yeah.
go stupid and then they're back together with their boyfriend the next day, right?
Yeah.
Where you go, "What are you thinking?"
Yeah.
So I didn't want anyone's input on anything. So you were a book I was reading.
Check it out. No, I like that approach though. I can respect that because let's face it, if you whoever the fuck you're calling anyway to talk about the guy or girl you met, you're calling who you know is going to tell you what you fucking want to hear anyway. If you want to hear go get it or go after it, you're going to call the friend that's going to tell you to go after it and go get it. If you don't want to, you're going to call the friend that's going to tell you, "Nah, man, don't worry about it. Just wait. Give it 3 days. That's the rule. 3 days, don't call." So you end up calling anyway. So I like what you did, how you kind of seal yourself off and go, "I don't want anyone to talk me into this, and I don't want anyone to talk me out of this."
Right. I did do that, but I cannot lie. I did phone a friend every now and then, which was your mother.
Woo,
But-
go, Mom. Got me in there. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, and I only did that because that person understood you.
Yeah.
So I felt like if I asked her a question
crazy as fuck
or
what?
yeah, I'd be like, "I'm not quite sure what he meant when he said do this, but is that normal?"
No, because it's all.
She's like, "I don't know that guy. Maybe that's someone different that you're talking about." No, so I was really happy that I did separate those things so that because friends, people do have such a huge influence on the decision that you're making. Because sometimes in an argument or whatever, you almost want to make a decision just because you don't want to be embarrassed that your friend knows the story.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go do
Do it
this.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and people are biased as shit. You know, who knows what bias they're putting in their lives. You know, like I said, look at a lot of my married friends disowned me. When I was divorced, they were like, fuck you, you're not in it with us anymore. So they couldn't call you to talk about it, right? And
Then where is the loss?
that's why I dig it. You see that? You guys hear that? Yeah.
That's
I'm with you.
sad to me.
Yeah, it is, because it's almost like,
I think they'll come back around though.
well, sure, but they almost want to go, you're no longer in the sacrificial lamb department. You're into the other department. You know, we can't hang out anymore.
Yeah. But you'll end up being that one that man, dude, where are you going? I wish I was living your fucking life.
Man, she left me for the auto detailer, bro.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what happened? I thought you were in love.
Dude, remember that Orange Theory class you was going to? There's a fucking theory behind that. That was bad. I went way Scooby-Doo just now.
Yeah, none of my friends talk like that.
Oh, okay.
Do they? Yeah, I was going through the Rolodex there.
I think I've met a few of those ones.
No, really?
No?
Who?
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm going to say that. No.
We have traveled down the rabbit hole of a few dating games, but a lot of really, you know what it comes down to? It seems like the games we continually play with ourselves. They're our own mental game, really, is what it seems to be. Reading the person, but not communicating with the person, guessing what they're saying or want without actually saying what we want or what they want.
I just completely made out with the microphone. My mouth is all hitting it.
What the fuck, man? I'm jealous. Yo,
right?
Put that microphone away, man.
Check.
We're going to talk. Me and that microphone have a conversation. There's a line in jealousy too, right?
Yeah. Would you consider yourself a jealous person?
No.
No?
No, but I would also say I'm old school and I'm chivalrous to a point, you know what I mean? To where I'll fucking say it. I'm the dude that if I'm around and you're fucking with somebody like a kid or an older lady or a woman, if you're doing that and I'm around, I'm more than likely I may be calling somebody for bail money. I'm gonna fuck a bitch up. You know, so for me, kind of old school like that is where I'm gonna just reference Pac. You can admire, but don't look too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look, if you're not admiring, something's fucking wrong. I made a bad choice.
I don't even, the admiring, that's normal.
Yeah.
But the second that woman knows you're admiring her is when you lose the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Like, to me, if a beautiful woman walks by, how could you not look? She's beautiful. You just give it a glance.
That's kind of what I say.
If
you don't twist back a little bit, my lady walks by, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Right. But if you're looking back and
when you're disrespectful to that female or to the woman that you're with, that's when I just go, yeah, you just dropped like 5 notches. Like a man that resists looking at a beautiful woman, that's like, say if you were with some female and there was a beautiful woman that walked by and you didn't give her attention.
Yeah.
I would be so hot for you because it was like you were that fucking solid that you're just like,
is it
I
weird
don't need
that
to
I actually look for points to do that? No, but it's weird because then I have to notice the chick to begin with. But I notice her from a distance, and when I'm like, I know she's coming, I'm like, because I know you're smart like that, and so I'm like, you do notice?
Yeah, of course.
You really do notice?
I appreciate it.
I'm like, this one some dude would look. I'm gonna be like, bam, I'm way east on this shit.
Yeah, and you know what is so great? It is the highest compliment to the female that you're with when there's nothing wrong with, like you did. You recognize them, like, this might cause a problem here. I might look the whole other direction. That's just smart. And it's just like if somebody tries to make eye contact a little bit longer than they should.
Well, they say that on the movie too. Remember, it's like if the girl looks at you and it's 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, we're fucking. It's just like 1, 2. Yeah, nothing. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not at all.
Yeah. Well, there's people that try to do that with you, and where you're like, "What the fuck did you get off me?" And they're literally just trying to do that lock when you're with your man or whatever.
I think maybe they're just old. They're like,
okay.
Old guys get a pass. They can look a little bit. I can't because they can't do anything. Look, my brother summed it up once. Sorry, big brother. He was drunk and I was drunk, and I was younger, and we were hanging out, and we were just talking like this about women cheating, and I don't know. I think it was maybe a breakup, and I could only, I'm like, this girl, she may kiss this other guy. I don't know. I was being some whiny bitch. And my brother goes, So what? They fucked. And then what? And maybe they didn't. So she did this. So she sucked his fucking dick. And he's talking like that too.
Yeah.
He was in he tried out for the Sopranos. He would have been in it, but he hated New York. And he's like, so fucking what? After it's over, and what, 30, 40, 50 minutes, you know, it's done 15 most likely, and then it's over, and she's got to fucking hang with the guy. And it ain't you, right? And it wasn't you in there. And so, and he goes, when it's all over, it's just
Yeah.
really just that. But that's all. That's such the breaking point, though, for so many people, right? Is where they do kill themselves, right? Or they go the further, right? They get violent, right? When they catch the cheating or something like that.
Oh, I believe that is so powerful.
And sure, I reacted that way in 9th grade when the new boyfriend
Oh
of my ex.
God.
Yeah, I was a bully when the new boyfriend of my ex. I was an asshole, and I just did some shit. But as you get older, I always remembered that talk of my brother, right? Like if I broke up with a
fucking
girl,
cares?
yeah, or she broke up with me, like
Mhm.
the one girl left me and was with like the second richest dude in fucking Orlando. They walked into my fucking club I'm managing like 4 nights later, and I'm like, you with this rich motherfucker,
Yeah.
good looking dude, shredded, you know, rich as heck, got his own helicopter. You know what I mean? I'm like, Jesus. And all I could think was my brother. So fucking what? They fucked. They had some
Ah.
sweaty, and then it's all over. And then
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? And I really applied that. So thank you, big brother, for the most sophisticated advice when you are trying to deal with somebody that cheated on
So
you.
was he saying, so fucking what? Forgive her, she's coming home to you, or so
Mm-mm.
fucking what? Move on, she's a fucking broad.
Yeah, fuck her.
Oh, okay.
He would no man. He's playing me Journey, all this shit, right? He's playing me the breakup songs, right?
That's funny. Isn't it funny when you really think about the age too?
Oh yeah, because he's 8
Like-
years older than me. He's playing me, you know. Here I go again on my
That's
own.
a great backwards speed skating song. Thank you. With
Oh.
White Snake.
Shout out Fun Steak, Pine Hills, roller skating ring. But it'd be that song. But for me, it was Return of the Mac.
Going down the only road I've ever known.
Return of the Mac. That was me.
Oh,
Middle school. I'm
That's
like,
a little
oh,
weak sauce.
nah, that was 7th
Return of
grade,
the
man.
Mac.
And my pleated pants rolled up, loafers on, silk shirt,
I would dance to it.
hair
Okay.
combed sideways, looking like Zach Morris.
I would listen.
Return of. I'm like, yeah, it's on. It's on. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
And you just bounced right back.
More than likely.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, dude, I was an abused child kid. You think relationships bothered me? The more, the merrier. I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, give me some distraught, fucked up, disturbed relationships where I break this person's heart and act this way. I was
Cheers to this. That's what you said to those girls. Like, who cares anymore?
yeah, I was an asshole, man. I was. But for me, I was like, well, that's the point, though, right? Is being the asshole guy that I was I was fulfilling some insecurities I never really got as a kid, right? Feeling out I can prove it. I remember somebody I respect very much actually getting wasted with him, going out one night. He's been married for a long time. Turned around, looked at me, and he's like, "Man, I missed the hunt." You know this hunt. And he's describing it like this fucking hunt.
You say it in that tone.
Yeah, that's how he said it. Yeah, that's how he said it. He was deep in the drink. And he's
Yeah.
like, I missed the hunt, man. And I'm just like, wow, you are a sick fuck. I'm like, and you married, I love you and respect you, but bad person. You know what I mean? I was like, this that hunt or you know, there's that primal mix, man. I don't know. Because the other side to argue relationships are irrational by themselves, to think that you would sleep with one woman your whole life or one man your whole life, right? There's people that argue that religious intention. Like, what a fucking shit pool. God.
I think more often than not, there's just too much thought put into everything.
Yeah, I would agree. I think a lot of people do.
Think about this. We could spend 2 months talking about where we want our relationship to go, right?
Sure,
Just
sure.
back and forth of ultimately, eventually, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And finally, we come to this agreement 2.5 months later, and I fucking die on an airplane.
Whoa.
I wasted all that
Whoa,
time.
whoa,
No,
whoa.
it's real.
Hey,
I
no.
wasted all that time
that back.
planning and putting rules on life when it's not a guarantee. You just can't do that. Obviously, there's guidelines, but realistically, I think too much time is wasted on planning and thought process and things like that, as far as where it's going to take you.
The peacock display, if you will, of what is love or what isn't, right? I have to present something else, you know, and I think I'm with you. Is short-term pain and long-term pain. If you play the dating games and you feel something with somebody, or at least you're thinking it, as I would say. If you think you're feeling something, more than likely you're thinking it. But if there's something there that you want to go after, you cannot and perhaps suffer long-term pain and be 20, 30 years and wonder what if I had just tried that or given that shot or did that, or if I did leave that relationship that I just settled for. That's long-term pain too. And you can deal with the long-term pain of what would be, or you can deal with that short-term pain and try it and then know, because then at least you'll know. And I think, especially whatever people want to define as love, if you don't give that a shot, I think that's a regret. It's hard to be okay with if you leave here.
Okay, so take the word love out of your life right now.
Mhm.
The word love.
Mhm.
If you were going to express that feeling to me or to somebody, can be someone that just you're not in love with, what words would you use instead of the word love? Would you say,
No, you already know.
well, I'm
Patricia.
aware of unspoken love.
No, Patricia.
What?
The words would be, I see you.
I know that, babe. You're supposed to say it.
I see you.
Yeah.
That would be it, I think, because beneath the underbelly of the words, the dating games, and all of it, I think that perhaps we want to be seen and we want to share.
Mhm.
And I think that that's what maybe a relationship is about, is to say that, hey, I'm going to take this irrational chance and vow with you for a moment in time, because this is part of the human experience that I'm going to give it a shot with, and follow that there are no supposed tos or shoulds, especially when you deal with fucking love. And I think that forgo the games, man. You can court, do your thing. But if you're gaming from the front, more than likely the end of that is going to be games out the back.
Yeah, you're going to hear that losing game sound.
Yeah, it's going to fail out for you. And, I think it would result to knowing why you want a relationship. To build on top of what you said, I think is most important in the beginning, what she said, is that, to love yourself. And that changes. We have days where we do and we don't. But where you can understand and love yourself to where the love that you accept, the love you think you deserve, is that of a standard that keeps you healthy and adds to your life. It doesn't decrease your life. I think what you said is the important beginning, but I'll add that to the back end.
Yeah. uh, Just to be approachable. If somebody can't even give you that option, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. And if somebody's not that, I would, you asked me what I would tell them instead of what I told you. Instead, what I told you is, I see you. I think that if you are on the fence about whether a relationship you're in is worth it or not, whether you should leave, for me, beyond asking yourself if you're happy, because this is subjective and can change with the weather, or asking if you love the person, because this too can change with the weather, and you can leave people and still love them.
Yeah, I
So
believe that.
if you ask the questions like, well, do you love them? I think you set yourself up for the circles, because you don't want to make a choice. That it's not about the love, or whether I love them or like them, or whether I'm happy or not. I had an answer, and I don't anymore, because that was a big crescendo I was building up. But I got sidetracked.
Maybe you are really just avoiding love in general, and just
No, I was bringing it full circle to something pretty cool.
I know I was trying to spark it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what could I say? Maybe to trigger that
Built the big
memory.
up on a crescendo with nothing. With nothing on the back end. I forgot what I was talking about, man. I got deep and started thinking about my own life. I think I got sidetracked.
That's what you're supposed to do. You know what? Ultimately, when people see someone else in a really good,
I got it. Sorry.
Go
That
ahead.
the person that you were deciding that you were with does not tell you to be less of you, but they actually ask for more of you.
Mhm.
That to me has become a gold standard. And if you've listened to any of my podcasts, people out there, that I have talked about the difference between standard expectations and preferences. That for me, the gold standard for love, or if you will, became accepted there, is that despite all the other stuff, whether you love them, do they treat you good, or are you happy? These are things that change with the fucking weather. It depends on what they do. But for me, if that person yearns for more of you, the authentic you, and knows when it's not you,
Mhm.
when your movie ends for the day and they wanted the movie to be longer, and you feel that way, where you're like, shit, I got tomorrow.
Yeah.
If the person you're with makes you feel like that, not, well, it's sacrifice, it's for the kids, I made a commitment, it's what I said. But if that person goes, could you not do that?
Oh God,
Could
don't
you
even say that. It
could
makes
you
me so
stop?
upset.
You know, stop. If
Have
they
you-
give you that kick under the table, or if they look at you when you think you said something that's fucking hilarious, for me, that's the judgment. Get the fuck out, and or stop dating. Whether you're in the relationship or you're dating, if that person asks you to be less of you and doesn't yearn for more of you, and you too don't return the favor of wanting more of them,
Yeah.
that's my gold standard. Fuck the games.
Yeah. That's a good one. I think for me, I mean, that was one of the main things that attracted me to you.
Someone just threw up in their car.
No.
Someone's like, fuck you. Fuck you guys, okay?
Right.
But look, let's not get it twisted. This shit did not come without our trials and tribulations, both of us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for
I
any of you
agree.
out there going, fuck you guys, I'm happy and shit.
Oh
you-
no. I've had a go to sleep Patricia.
Inside joke we'll tell you about another show.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I think it is time to go to sleep, Patricia.
Yeah. Well, fine. But let me tell you one thing.
You can tell me too.
Okay. What I was going to say was my most important thing about relationships, not necessarily even love. The main thing is to communicate, and you can see right through it.
Yeah, and let's be real. So many people, cliche, say communicate. But people really don't. We don't. There's times where we catch ourselves to where, like we talked about on the podcast, right? To where, like, I thought I would communicate exactly what I was saying, and we don't. And I think a good question is what we brought up was, did you tell them that?
Right.
Whatever it is you're thinking in yourself when you say good communication, is ask yourself, well, did I tell them that? Once you make the statement, well, they never, well, he didn't or she shouldn't, did I ever tell them that?
Mhm.
And I think if you can answer that, well, no, well, then I think you hold some fault.
Yeah, of course. Take it off yourself.
Don't put it on
Do
yourself.
the maximum effort on your end. Hopefully, you'll get that in return.
Yeah. So many people wait for that sign, don't they? They go, I don't know if I should go all in. We're reading it. You know what I mean? Or I kind of like your approach is like, look, if you're there, put it on the table. What's the worst that happens?
Yeah.
They say no.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you don't, even worse happens. You never know.
Yeah. That's the approach I took with you.
Yeah. I also like your phrase that it's worth the wait.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, for lack of better words, life could really be a conveyor belt of men.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you want it to be.
Yeah.
And I don't mean men you're with. I mean men of your options of going, no, oh, definitely no. You know? And I stopped the conveyor belt when I saw you.
I appreciate
Sent
it.
a runner.
I appreciate it. Well, hopefully we're still together in 3 to 4 years from now, and all this will sound beautiful and sweet.
In 3 weeks, if we're not together, we'll play these for laughter and say those dumb fucks.
I'll cry to him late
Yeah.
at night when no one's.
Yeah, cheers to that episode.
She was so good. Yeah.
That bitch.
Well, more than likely, we probably didn't help you at all in your love and relationships. If anything, we made the shit worse. Because now you're sitting there going, I gotta fucking do something now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think maybe it'll give them something to talk about.
You just
Give him
Cheryl Crow it.
something to- That's not Cheryl Crow.
Isn't it?
No.
No,
Bonnie.
yeah.
Bonnie, right?
Yeah, you don't know.
It was Bonnie, right?
I don't know. You
Bonnie
kind of mumble
something.
that last
I
name there a little bit. What were you saying? Be clearly.
Yeah, be Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Yeah. Bonnie, right? I think it is.
Till next time when he said, she said.
Cheers.
Cheers. And yeah, we'll take calls next time. And be brave enough to call in.
My freaking brother, I tried to tell him to give us a call because he's, big on
Not
this.
Max.
Yeah, Max. I tried to call him, tell him to call and
No.
whatever. And he goes,
He'll just be hilarious and fuck around.
well,
and
he
say
goes, I have to read this. Are we still recording?
Of course.
He said this. I have to read it. He goes, just do a show where you talk about the text conversations we're having or talk about the internal struggle that people have when they don't believe in God and yet they have seen a ghost.
That's Max is a trip.
Yeah,
I miss
so
that motherfucker, man.
that is probably why it's a good thing he did not call in.
Yeah, for sure, man.
In this flat world, how do you date?
You
Sorry,
push it to
Max.
the edge. Push it to the edge. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And don't eat meat. That's just what Max does.
Mhm.
Awkward.
That was a little. So was that laugh. God, I could erase it. I would.
You can't.
I know.
It's forever in the ether of the internet.
Yeah, you've threatened to make a remix of all of them.
I will. One day I will have a Patricia Laugh remix.
Oh, God.
They're awesome. There's like 1 through 5. And if you mix them up just right, you can make a whole.
That's been told to me since I was in like kindergarten.
Yeah, well, damn it. That was original.
No, I was just as silly then.
What would be silly now? Look, if you're in love, whatever the fuck that means, irrationally, chase it irrationally. There are no fucking rules, is the point. There's no dating rules. There's no games. Don't play them. And if somebody's playing them now, more than likely you're going to play them later. I just tell you that. And frankly, if you're doing it for the family, you're doing it for the kids, well, it's only as strong as the weakest link. And what are you really teaching your kids if you sacrifice yourself for, well, I don't know, someone else? Because more than likely, they're going to remember what you modeled when their life happens. And they say, well, what did mom and dad do? And did they sacrifice their own personal happiness for some greater good of a social construct enforced by some sort of designer? But until then, love yourself, love your neighbor, and keep living your cognitive rampage. Good luck in the dating world. Have a great time. It's 50-50 out there. Try to keep your numbers up, keep your gloves up, be honest and true, man. If you're with somebody, be honest. If you're going to cheat on them, leave that somebody. But for all those that believe in love out there, this one is for you tonight. This is when I start the remix of Marvin Gaye.
Mine would be, if you think of a compliment, say it out loud.
Yes. Do that. I like that. If you think of something, say it. If
A
it's good.
compliment. Not the other. Be like, so I just watched the show and those pajamas are horrible.
Yeah, don't say it.
I'm going to start calling you Platty.
Right. Like, you know what? You make that plaid. Just wear it just right in the morning, dear. Or something about the plaid and coffee in the morning. Have a good night.
Goodbye.